Hi, welcome back to Tractor Doctor TV. Today, we're going to work on this old Alice baler today. We're going to do some greasing and we'll talk about how the knotters work. So let's go. So guys, before we get started, I like to talk to you guys about what tools we'll need today. So the first tools we'll need for when we're doing our greasing, of course, is a grease gun. The second thing we'll need is the manual, because it will tell you where all the grease zerks are. So from here, let's get started. So guys, we're going to start right here at the pickup. Now, the first thing I want to let you know is I have greased all of them, but the two we're about to do. And it is, like I said, I think in my earlier video, I had talked about the book will show you where they're at. On this baler, there's one on this side here. It should be right. There, and then on this side, it's actually on the opposite side. So guys, before we continue greasing, I like to talk to you about one little thing. When you're greasing something like this, especially a baler, there's this adage where there's never too much grease. That is wrong, especially with something that's going to be in the dirt and dust, because when you're doing that, when you have way too much grease and it's spilled over, the dust collects in it and it slowly pulls the grease, the motion of things moving, slowly pulls that dirty grease in, and now you're, instead of lubricating, you're sanding. So you're causing wear that you didn't want. So that's why you need to just do just enough grease when it's not coming out. And you get to the point that it does come out, take a rag and wipe off the excess. Now guys, let's continue greasing. So there's, on this baler, there's one here, and then there's one back here. Get it. And then there's one back here. If I can get it to get one. There it is. And then guys, from there, we need to move back some more. So guys, I went to go this ready for you to show you guys how to grease it. And on this specific baler, and I bet you on this little or smaller size one, this is actually a sealed bearing. So there's no grease zerks. So I guess we can move on from here, guys. So now guys, we're back here in your pickups, and for the arms that pull it in, and right here's a zerk, and over here's a zerk, and we'll get some grease in those. And then a little bit farther back on here, there's a grease zerk that I'll get when I get over by the knotters. So guys, we're gonna get that one I talked about just a second ago. And then we're gonna look here at the knotters, which I have greased this side, and we'll get this other one, so. Okay guys, that's should got that. I'm not gonna grease the steering wheel. I had taken the time yesterday to go see if I could price replacement parts, And I found that it's kind of a sad thing about these older pieces of equipment. This whole assembly here is not available anymore. So I got to see what I can do about either finding somebody that can rebuild up the shaft and press in the bearings, because I don't have this equipment to do the bearings. Or see if I can find maybe another brand that is similar that I can make work. But other than that, guys, I think it's time to start kind of going through and looking at the knotters. So guys, before we get started looking at the knotters, another tools you will need. You will need 2 wrenches, whatever size this bolt may be. So let's get it taken off, guys. Okay, so guys, we got the knotter taken loose here. So now the things we need to look at is, like here on the little duck bill, make sure it opens, which it does. The little bearing there rolls, and then down here on your knife there's a bearing, or a little, bearing. There it is. And it spins. Make sure it spins. And then while we're here, guys, so guys, here at the knotters, we're gonna start right here at the duck, and that's just what it's called. It's called the duck bill. And when the needles come up, it's the one that grabs your twine. So we're gonna kind of work that in here, and then we're gonna close it. And we didn't get both of them in there? No, we didn't. So we can do that now. There you go. And you can see that it's not in there very well. It is actually kind of squeezing it, and you don't want that. So it should look a little bit more like this. If I can get it in there and hold it in there and get this closed, it should sit in there fairly. Actually, could be a little bit tight. It should be a little bit tighter, but about like that. And that way, guys, it's because the reason you want it to check this is because you want to make sure you're not overdoing this, because this is what ties your knot. And then this here is your knife that comes across, and it cuts you free from the spool. And everything looks really good in here. So, and this arm here, there's a little ball on it back here, up inside the little housing, the knotters, the whole knotter assembly runs from. And there's a little ball back in there, and you want to check and make sure that ball is free, as well with the one up here on the duck. So you make sure those are free, and you want to make sure anything else in this area that moves and rolls works. And you want to do the same thing we did here on this side, on this opposite side. From there, guys, I think we're looking pretty good here on this. There's a little bit of wear here and there, but that is normal. Other than that, guys, talk a little bit more about knotters. This here is exactly the same as the big squares, just a lot bigger. So just thought you guys might have wanted to know that. From here, guys, I think we're going to go and move on to some more greasing, because I think we're done here. So guys, now we're back to greasing. So we're going to do a zerk up here that will hit. And then on the other arm, there's a zerk. And down here on this is actually there to that little bar there runs this up here. You see that pops? Okay, up here, and this here is your emergency stop for your ram. So when the needles are up doing what they do, that gets pulled in, and the ram hits that instead of your knotters, which on this baler, which we didn't show, but on this specific baler, I think on the smaller one, the 202, there is a sacrificial pin up there that when that happens, it snaps that pin off, and it keeps you from having catastrophic problems. So from there, guys, I think the last thing we need to do, get done is to put back on the tensioner. And while we do that, I'm going to kind of go through their importance. So what these, for those that don't really know, that the whole point of these, hold on, I'm trying to get it to, no. And get it to line up here, guys. Hold on. There it goes. Maybe that's it. So, guys, like I was saying, when I was trying to get this together, is the importance of these is that it makes how heavy or how light your bell is, and it's extremely important to make sure the left side and the right side tension is exactly the same, because it'll cause you so many headaches with making bells, because it'll make odd shaped bells, it'll cause bells to break. If you remember the previous video, I talked about when I had used this thing, I was having problems with what I call banana bells, the U-shaped bells. That is a big cause of that, is these not being set equally. So the best way to do this is get these things at where they're all the way up, where this is just touching here, and then you want to go, you count how many times find your point. So, for example, we lined up with the center of this. You go up for me, okay. So like I was saying, lined up with the center of the trough or whatever they sit on. So when you do that, and then you want to go, that is one rotation. So you go 1, 2, 3, and then you do the exact same thing on the far side to make sure that they're 100% the same. And you should have beautiful, perfect shaped bells. The last thing we did there was, of course, was get the tensioners on. So that kind of closes the video out, guys. Thanks for coming in and watching. See you next time. Bye.